Bolo Radha Ramana Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Bolo Radha Ramana Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Okay, I have to preface this answer with the reminder that I am, first of all, not a scholar. I'm not a wise person. I'm not, I don't know very much. And with that in mind, I'll kind of share some thoughts. Many people say, well, I read the Ramayana and Ram banishes Sita at the end because of a rumor in the city. And how horrible that is, and how can we revere Ramachandra? How can we revere him if he acts in that way? And I know anybody who's a student of the Bhakti tradition, I think whatever I say now they're going to get mad at, because there are so many opinions of this. Now, there are annual conferences, Ramayana conferences, where people debate several points of the Ramayana year after year, century after century, and argue them and stuff, and this is one of them. Now, before even reflecting on that, I have to say that Maharaji encouraged it's more the word, to read the Ramachartamanas, which is Tulsidas's version of the Ramayana. Valmiki's more ancient version is written in Sanskrit, and some people in India consider that to be what they call the true Ramayana. But in medieval India, nobody spoke Sanskrit except the rich people, and so the story was being lost to all of common humanity. And Tulsidas' story is amazing and rich. But just without going into it, the story is that Hanuman dictated the Ramayana to him, and he wrote it in Hindi. And all the world understood it suddenly, and it became, once again, the most popular story, particularly in North India. Now, in Tulsidas' version of the Ramayana, which we could say is Hanuman's version, I don't know, Rama doesn't banish Sita in the end. They rule the kingdom until the time comes for them to ascend to heaven together. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thought is that, these ancient texts, in their first transmission, they're divine texts that are filled with divine energy, and every word in them is mantra and is pure. Over the centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, stuff is lost and stuff is added on. And historians are always debating, well, was that part of the original or was that added on? It's just something to think about. We don't know. Some people say that the beginning and the ending of Valmiki's Ramayana were added on later. But it's still an argument. People don't know that. So let's jump into it from a completely different angle. And, well, first of all, we have to have a certain acceptance that we're unable to fully understand the divine play of the Avatar. That, there are aspects of the life story, leela, of Krishna that are really hard to comprehend. And likewise, with our conditioning. And likewise, in the story of Rama, there are leelas and parts of the drama, so to speak, that we can't understand, and that it pulls us back into the place of self-examination without judging. And why suffering? When Rama banished Sita, Rama constructed a statue of Sita to always have next to him, to remind him of his despair. Rama entered however thousands of years that he lived and ruled the kingdom after Sita left, he lived in absolute despair. Why did he have to do that? Rama was the Lord of the universe. Obviously, there's something bigger to the picture than what we see in our conditioned mind. Husband banishes wife. It's more like, for some reason, husband chooses despair. Wife and husband co-created. This is Vishnu and Lakshmi. This is the Lord of the universe and the Divine Mother of the universe. The Divine Mother of the universe is not a victim. And everything that happens in the leela of their birth as humans on earth is co-created. God is not separate from goddess. The sun is never separated from the rays of the sun. So then we have to ask ourselves, well, okay, if Rama and Sita, if Vishnu and Lakshmi created this drama together, then we have to cast aside judgment and say, why? Why did they do that? And this is not a question that I can answer. But I remember the story of a great saint I read about who had his disciples build him a bamboo cage. And the bamboo cage was big enough for him to sit in only. And they locked him in the bamboo cage for a year, and he subsisted just on a cup of coffee a day. And sometime over the course of that time, his disciple says, well, Baba, why are you doing this? Why are you going into this prison? And he says, I'm entering this prison so that you can be free. And we ask, why was Jesus crucified? That's not a rhetorical question. I don't have the answer. But these people come to save us. Why did Rama and Sita finally choose separation? Well, one very respected, beautiful person I spoke to about this once said, well, the love that they experienced for each other in their period of separation when Sita was imprisoned by Ravana was so intense, the longing was so intense that the time together, it just couldn't compare to it. They needed to recreate the longing. The mood of separation, the fire, the intense longing for each other, they had to recreate it. And the way that they recreated it was by Rama, quote, banishing, unquote, Sita. I think pulling away from the entire, in order to judge that negatively, we have to compare it to our lives. And I think the best thing to do is to absorb these dramas, these leelas, and absorb them emotionally without judgment. Can we empathize with Sita when she's in the ashram of Valmiki and she's pregnant with twins and her husband has banished her? Rather than judging it, can our heart open wide enough to feel the situation of the Divine Mother of the universe? Sita's the goddess, come on. She can do anything she wants. She could burn the universe with a blink of her eye. And she enacts this anguish. And can we even begin to empathize, to feel what Rama, banishing, separating himself from his eternal love and constructing a statue next to him so that he would never forget how much he longed for her. It wasn't a statue built so that people could respect or something like that. It was a symbol of pain that he never wanted to be more than a few inches away from, so he could never forget that pain, that longing. Can we open our insides enough to encompass that emotion? You know, in bhakti, our emotions become awakened and connect us with God. The judgments of our mind can be very interfering, but the wider that we can feel, it's hard, it's easier said than done, not just with learning about Rama and Sita, but with our lives, with every Every moment of our life, we're demanded to open or close, or we close. And most of the time we close. And it's just, that's the way it is. But when we see Rama and Sita, how can we open wider and wider to encompass their emotions and the knowledge that they are the divine avatar? There's no mistakes. We can't look at it from the viewpoint of a 21st century American person. And then I leave it to all of us to take it inside. And if the conclusion is negative, okay. But then go to the next conclusion. And actually never make a conclusion. Take a ride with those feelings. If the Ramayana is making you feel anger, ride with that anger and see where it takes you. If it's making you feel abandoned, because we all feel abandoned, so then when we see the story of abandonment, it freaks us out. So ride with that feeling and sing and pray with that feeling. But it's not about understanding it, because likewise when we hear the stories of Krishna, some of it is easy to encompass, but some of it isn't. And it's not meant for us to understand. Maybe the divine sages understand, but it is meant to awaken and open our hearts and our spirits and connect with God in that way, and to save us. The avatars come to save the universes. That's us, man.
Haribo, 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 Haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo.